might need a microphone. What do you guys think? Hello all you beautiful people out there. I am Mrs. Realistic. Welcome back to the channel. I have a donation request for the Tidal Rising documentary, and this is for The Warning. So this is a 20-minute video. I'll try to not talk too much, otherwise it'll end up being an hour. This request comes to us care of Gen Boyer or Jen Boyer. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce your first name. I'm excited to find out a little bit more about these lovely ladies. If you like what I do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Click the bell for notifications so you will always know when another video comes out. And if you would like a donation request, I have a link in my description below. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Obviously started playing here in Mexico. We're Mexicans, we're from Mexico. So our first shows were always here in our home and then just across the country. And I feel like we've seen it grow over the years and how we started and just our crowd. And it makes me so excited that people my age are looking for this energy and like this music specifically.
Yeah, I mentioned that too.
There aren't a lot of female-led rock bands, like only woman rock bands. So she started working as a young teen, a kid. We didn't even start out as women. Like we started out as little girls in this industry. Children, literally.
Oh, look how cute.
It involves a lot. And we were doing it with our parents. Like we were pretty protected. Like they supported us so much. They got us into lessons. Like they bought us our instruments. Like they give us the liberty to like really concentrate on music.
Because imagine you're like just a teenager, maybe 13, and you want to do this. But of course, there's tons of different things that you want to try out and do. So like sticking with it was also hard, you know?
Started out as a 5-member band. Our parents are part of the band. Right now, obviously, our family has grown a bit more, like with our team, our management, and everyone that works with us. But as we keep on working, that is always like the center of everything, and everyone we start working with starts feeling like family, because we've always had that vibe. Like we've learned how to be like disciplined and responsible and like level-headed. And I feel like that's really important for the industry that we're in. So a big hug.
And I think a lot of that probably came from their parents. I think it's wonderful that their parents supported them. A few of you have commented that their parents actually didn't push them to do this. This was 100% something they wanted to do, but they were just there to support them and get them into lessons and the things that they needed, getting them instruments and stuff like that. I think that's fantastic. They do seem level-headed. I've gotten so many great comments from you guys giving me a little bit more information and insight, and their family structure was 100% the most important thing to them. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. And they look so much alike. When I see them sitting here next to each other, they kind of look like they could be triplets, except you can tell that obviously in the beginning ones that there is a wide age range here. What are they now? 19, 22, and 24, I think you guys told me.
And I feel like that's really important for the industry that we're in. So a big hug to mom and dad for everything.
Aw, see? That's so great.
What we think really got us into this energetic music and rock and roll was definitely the Rock Band, the video game. We loved to play that game, and it was so fun that we just like looked at the screen and we just, we want to do that. I told my dad, like, I want to play the guitar, and he's like, are you sure? And I was like, of course. By the first week, my fingers hurt so much that I was like, please, no.
My kids have said that too.
I fell in love with it, and there was no going back.
for 13 years. I don't like that number, but okay, 13 years. And well, I've been playing since I was a little kid. I would always play on the drums, like the toy drums. And I remember I really liked hitting things. So it was like a perfect match.
Look at her little tiny legs trying to reach the pedals.
Really good coordination. And he asked me like, hey, like, are you up for lessons? Like, do you want to give it a shot? And I was like, yeah. Nobody wanted to give me lessons. I looked like a toddler.
I mean,
and like I was super short. Like playing the drums, it didn't look very promising for me. But I met one teacher and I had like a test class, and the teacher was like, "Oh, leave her with me. Like she'll be good. Like, let's do this."
Bought me my first bass, and of course I was really young and really short and I couldn't play a full-scale bass, so they bought me a smaller bass, which I have right here.
Right there.
Yeah, it's really small and I still couldn't play that, and I learned for about a month and then we started playing together immediately. So I didn't really have like that much time to get used to my instrument before we started playing together.
Okay, wait, I know that this isn't part of it. I'm going to ask you a question.
Do it.
Because it's like...
Do it.
Because I know, this isn't my place, but I will. Because there's a lot of people who tell you, like, why don't you play with a pick? Because normally rock music is just like you, like, from the start,
I always play with my
finger style.
I know how to play with a pick now, and I really do like the sound of it.
I don't know that I've ever seen people who play bass with a pick. Maybe guitar, but do people play bass with a pick? That's new to me.
But I don't know. I just always played with my fingers, and I do feel more comfortable with my fingers, even though I do play more on time with a pick. It's weird. It does hurt more, though, but...
I get it. It's like when I play without shoes and when I play with shoes.
Yeah,
I get it. Turning point
so cool
in our careers. Like, we did our Enter Sandman cover, which went viral, but I feel like the point where we were like, we really
that's the one I have to check out
like,
next. Don't show me too much of it.
Was when we started writing our own music and releasing our own stuff. That was like, whoa, like we can create something, put it out in the world, and people react to it. It was just something that we really liked and looked forward to. So now that we're doing what we do today, like I just feel like it's the thing that really keeps us going, our music. Of course, like any type of siblings, like we have our disagreements and our little fights and stuff like that, but we get along really well.
We know each other so well that we know how to make it work.
Exactly. And in the second that we start writing music, everything just flows really nicely. Like, I don't know what to call it except like sibling magic.
Yeah.
Probably is. I feel like this is going to ruin it for me for other songs that I haven't seen yet. I don't know what any of these songs are that they're playing. I haven't heard them yet, but I think that sibling magic that they were talking about is just because they know each other so well. So it's not like trying to get a band together with people who you're, just trying out to see who the best guitarist is or who the best drummer is. They already know each other. And so they've grown up doing this together and working together from the very beginning. So it's kind of like they play off of each other without even having to try. And I think that's probably what makes this band so epic, plus the fact that they're playing awesome rock and roll music.
Escape the Mind, those were our first compositions ever. That was our first time writing. I was like 12, Danny was 14, and I was 9. We were children.
It's crazy.
it was the moment where we really fell in love with music and like what we wanted to do. Like creating something was just such a powerful experience.
And you know, it was such a key thing, I think, personally, that we were not thinking about will people like it, because we were not going to release it. We were not even going to record it. It was not going to be a thing. So we just literally wrote from our 14-year-old hearts.
And I'll walk until the very top and I'll ride, even though I stumble and fall.
And then we jump into
So
our
cute.
first album, 21st Century Blood. And it was weird because some of the compositions that are in 21st Century Blood were written in the same time
era
as Escape the Mind.
Mhm.
But there was this very big leap we gave with this song that we made called Free Falling.
It was the first song that we actually wrote
Together.
Yeah. And you know, it was also a big thing that we started like looking for outside inspiration. We really like what's happening in the world that we can write about.
And more than anything, like we read so much and we consume a lot of media, as any Gen Z teen does. So we were constantly getting inspired by other
Different
stories that we
scenarios.
were hearing. So 21st Century Blood was like, we felt like it was our first step. You know, like, okay, we're a band now. This is our album.
And nothing will change. I'm crashing to space. I'm burning up, and there's nothing I can put out to space.
And one thing that I really like that we do, we really looked for what the song needed. We were like, okay, so what if this is a song with only piano, violins, and stuff like that? Like, we didn't focus on, oh, we have to be rock. We just focused on the energy that went into the song. So if you hear our music, sometimes it will be very varied within the same album.
But then Queen of the Murder Scene comes. It's our second album, and Queen of the Murder Scene. I was in middle school. I started going through my emo phase, so you can hear it clearly there how that shift and like I'm angsty now.
Going through that phase of like, you don't understand, Mom. You don't know what I'm going through. I think we all have gone through that sort of teenage angst, but I don't necessarily think I went through an emo phase. I didn't have like the bangs covering one side of my face and wore all black, you know, to like match my soul. It happens, you know, the hormonal changes that happen when you go through teenagehood and how you feel like everything's against you and nobody could possibly understand. It's definitely a teenage phase.
And like, I'm angsty now.
Makes for some good music though.
These songs and these albums like grew with us. It's
Yeah.
literally, you can see like the change
Yeah,
in
you can feel the
personality.
Yeah,
Our
and
music.
Queen of the
Yeah.
Murder Scene is a concept album. It tells a story.
A novel.
Yeah, it was like a novel, and it was a really different process writing songs to fit a narrative and a plot.
It was really hard.
It was hard because we had some, and then we had to add like the filler episodes, but we didn't want them to feel like filler songs. So we really had to put meaning into every single little part. But I was like really into this idea of making it a whole album about this story.
Yeah.
And when I told them about it, they were like, "What?
Why is there blood everywhere?"
Why?" I was like, "Please hear me out."
We had to change
so much.
like
Of
a
the
lot of the
story.
storyline because it wasn't
It
even
wasn't
that
like
much
that.
of a storyline.
Yeah, it was just like
murder.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
We were getting into
I was getting into K-pop.
That's true.
Oh
so
my goodness.
we took the emo phase K-pop like
Route.
express line, right?
Yeah.
So you can hear a lot of influences in there that maybe you don't pinpoint them as such, but for us it's really apparent like which phases we were going
That
through.
key change into the one.
Those key changes, those harmonies, like it was all very K-poppy for us.
It's a thing that we also love to do. That as we start learning new ways of doing this, we just like, okay, what's the next thing that we can try out with our music?
Yeah.
So
And
it's very
in
fun.
Queen of the Murder Scene, it was key changes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Definitely.
change the key.
That was the theme.
Coming from Queen of the Murder Scene, things are really different now. Because I
Mhm.
feel like we really grew as people,
Even
as
more.
musicians.
Like
Right,
from
'cause
those two.
We're going through our teenage years. Of course, you grow a lot from one year to another, and you start living different experiences and stuff like that. So I feel like this third album is personal.
Yeah.
Like it talks more about our feelings or situations that are close to us, or our opinions on certain situations. Evolve was one of the songs that we started writing together, and we had music first
Yeah.
before lyrics and melody. It's usually the other way around. So the three of us were in.
I always wondered about that. Like when people write music, do they write the lyrics first or do they write the melody and then come up with lyrics that match that? Because it seems so hard. I wouldn't even know how to write a song. Alejandra, I think is how you pronounce her name, or you guys have said Ale or Ali. She seems like she's the more quiet one. Just by watching this documentary, you can definitely tell the different personality types. This is Pau, right? Paulina. And she seems like she is 100% the voice. I know that she's the drummer, but she seems to sort of speak the most for the group. So it's kind of between her and her older sister. It's Daniela. You guys said that she just goes by Danny. So it's cool to see the different personality types. And I feel like that's kind of like the breakdown. She's the eldest, but she seems to be sort of a little bit more of the opinionated one. Not in a bad way, but she just seems to be the one that sort of seems to speak a little bit more for the band.
This
This
room,
room, yes,
and Danny
right
and Ale
here.
were like playing, like getting the riff, and I was like, let me write a melody really quickly for the verse and just like put some lyrics on there. And I was like, hey, that's a
That's
good
good.
line.
That's a cool
I'm not in
line.
danger, I'm the danger.
I do feel that it encases what this new album represents for us, the changes that we went through as musicians, as people, and in writing, because we saw things differently. Like right now, we really concentrated on adding a lot of like new harmonies and how like the bass and the drums were going to play together. And then differently at the same time.
Like there is so much room to grow, and we always enter these situations like with big wondrous eyes. Like we're gonna learn today. What are we gonna learn now?
What's gonna happen
Yeah.
now?
You guys, this is you. Okay, everybody.
Oye, ¿cómo va? Mi ritmo bueno para gozar. Mulata, oye, ¿cómo va? Mi ritmo bueno para gozar. Mulata, pam, 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 pam.
She doesn't know that song?
Performing our songs live is a totally different universe. Like we treat it as such, even ourselves. We know it's nothing like recording in a studio, but it's so much fun. You're like directly sharing and expressing to the people who are watching you.
And I feel like our past albums, we try to grab like the sound, like how we sound live into our recordings, and
Yeah.
we never really,
But we have never accomplished
we
that.
Yeah.
never accomplished that until like
this
This third
third
album.
album.
I've already collapsed, so I'll just drown my sorrows in a non-existent world.
we put in a lot of hard work
Yep.
into our live
Yes,
shows.
we do.
And we really plan everything out, and
Yep.
we practice it a lot.
And even
A lot.
our movements, like if you see us playing in our early stages of the band,
Oh,
we're
we
just
didn't
like
move at all.
statues.
Didn't move.
And that's something that we actually worked on consciously. It's like how to play, being able to like jump around and bring more energy to the show.
Like, we make fun of each other while we're on
And
stage.
I know, like, I shouldn't really be like saying this, but even when we mess up, we're like, oh, you messed up. Like,
Yeah,
we laugh
we just-
about
we
it.
just
We're
look at each other like,
you messed up.
When we play a show in our country and in our home city, it's just absolutely amazing.
Actually, our last show that we played was in Mexico City, and we hadn't been to Mexico City in a long time.
Yeah.
So coming back and seeing that we had more fans, like there were a lot of people watching us. It was just insane. It was one of the
so
best
cool.
shows
People
we've ever
like
had.
screaming our songs. We actually have like a video where you hear everyone singing on top of like it's
Yeah, like you can't hear
hear
us. Mexico really has something very
a
special.
big scene
Like-
of energetic people
Yeah,
ready
people are
for
really
metal.
passionate about
Yeah.
music in general here in Mexico, and the crowds are always really energetic.
Like this energy that they transmit, you just can't help but give it back.
That's fantastic. You know, it's like they're going back to their home country, and these are like the country's daughters. It's a totally different vibe probably for them. And after working so many years in the industry, which you can see the changes big time as they're talking about how consciously to move on stage and fine-tuning their music, it's got to be just such a high for them. I think you guys told me that they live in the US now. I'm not 100% sure on that, but to go back to your hometown or your home city and have these people be so enamored with you and be able to sing your songs like that, I bet you that is probably the best feeling for any artist.
It's really about making like a personal connection of what you want to transmit through your
Yeah.
instrument. Cause I look at our past videos, like our covers,
No.
and I'm like, no, what are you doing? But we were so young, we were starting out, so it's okay. But I feel like that's a really nice thing. Looking back and seeing how much you've improved and how much you've grown.
A veces las cosas obvias son las más difíciles de ver. Te asfixiaste con tus propias manos. Cuando todo apunta que por fin alguien te viene a rescatar, te encuentras nuevamente abandonado. En tu martirio
At the end of the day, like, there's a goal and there's something that you want to reach. And it's really about putting in a lot of work.
And just also be very conscious that the people who work around you are different, are going through different things and will think differently than you. There's no one that will think exactly like you. So taking things with a grain of salt and not taking things personal
Personally.
for it to ruin like your experience is a key thing. As sisters, we really have like that separate, our working selves and our sister selves.
Sometimes people have these stereotypes or these stigmas, like we've seen it in places we've played in festivals and stuff like that. Like the treatment is really different to like other bands, like male bands. But we see that change after like
We play.
we play and then like people's faces
Change people's
completely
minds.
change.
That's great.
And, like everyone's just so
Which is fun
excited.
to see, because they remind themselves that it doesn't matter who is playing, their age, whatever it is. It's about the music.
Music is the language. It doesn't matter like where you're from, like what language you
Yes.
speak, like anything. Like music is
The language.
That was great. I always find it really cool when, you know, you've seen from a band is just their music, and then you get to you hear them talking, and you get to see them as just a person rather than the rock star. To just see them as three sisters and how they work together. How did she put it? There's the work sisters, and then there's just the sisters. They're able to separate the two, and they seem like they have been raised by a wonderful family. They seem like they have really great heads on their shoulders, and hopefully fame won't change that. They seem like such lovely young women. I have another donation request coming up for May Day in the Making. I believe it's episodes 1 through 6. So we will be checking that out next. Stay tuned for that. I hope everybody out there is having a wonderful day. And as I always say, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.